Hi guys, welcome back to ABoC Studio. In today's video, we are going to crochet this adorable shoulder bag. And as you can see, the bag can be big or small. That's because the pattern is very simple and easy to customize. Once again, this is a step-by-step tutorial, so it's going to be perfect for beginners. Now first thing first, let's talk about tools and materials. For this project, we're going to use double-stranded Aran yarn, category number 4. And if you don't know what double strand means, it is basically putting two strands of yarn together and work as if they are one. You can put two colors together to create multicolor effect, or if you want a plain bag, you can put the same color together. Then we're gonna need the 4.5mm crochet hook. You can see here that we use a pretty small hook with this thick double-stranded Aran yarn. This will create a very dense and stiff fabric, which is perfect for making bags. However, it might be uncomfortable to work with such a thick yarn and a small hook. The yarn might slip off easily. In that case, you can consider to upsize your crochet hook to a 5mm or a 5.5mm and see which one works best for you. Then we're gonna need 6 stitch markers and of course scissors and yarn needle. So these two bags were made with the same yarn weight, double-stranded Aran yarn, but you can still tell that they are slightly different in size. And this is because the cotton yarn is usually stiffer and denser than acrylic yarn. That's why the stitches would turn out a little bigger. This brown one you see here is single strand Aran cotton yarn. So it's the same types of yarn as this one, but it's single strand. And with the same pattern, this is how it turned out to be. This black one were made with super chunky yarn, and this one you can tell that the size is pretty similar with this white one. Let's start with a slip knot and a chain of 11. When you work the chain, remember that you don't want it to be too tight. We're gonna start the first row with a half double crochet into the second chain. So this is the loop on your hook, first chain and second chain, okay? For a half double crochet, we're gonna first yarn over with the working yarn. Like so. You can put your finger right here to hold on this yarn over loop. Insert your hook in the second chain, so 1, 2. Then with the working yarn, you draw our loop. You can see that now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again with your working yarn and pull through all 3 loops. And that is the first half double crochet. Now what you want to do is to take a stitch marker and mark that very first half double crochet. You will see this is the body of the half double crochet, and on top of that you will see a V, and that's where you want to put your stitch marker to mark the first half double crochet. Now moving on, we are going to half double crochet into each chain across all the way until the end. So let's do that. Yarn over, insert your hook in the next chain next to this first half double crochet, right in here, draw our loop, yarn over and pull through all. That is the second half double crochet, and repeat that into each chain all the way until the end. You can see here that I have 2 chains left to work in, and I'm gonna do that. This one and this last chain. Okay. Now after row 1, you should have 10 half double crochet. Counting from this first half double crochet, here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're gonna chain 1. Be careful not to work too tight on this chain 1. So chain 1, then turn your work from the right to the left. And for row 2, we're gonna work half double crochet into each stitch across all the way until the end. So you see this is your first half double crochet. On top of that half double crochet, you will see this V, and be careful not to mistake the chain 1 that you did in the end of row 1 as a half double crochet. So you want to find the body of the first half double crochet, and on top of that body is the V where you want to insert your hook. Okay, so half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, and remember to take both loops of the V on top of the stitch, like so. Okay, draw our loop, yarn over and pull through all. Now again, let's mark the first half double crochet of row 2. So you see this is the body of the stitch. On top of the stitch, you will see this V that it's kind of leaned to the right, and you want to mark that V on top of the stitch. Okay, let's move on to the next stitch. This second half double crochet, on top of it, this V. Okay, yarn over, insert your hook under that second V, draw our loop, yarn over and pull through all. That's the second half double crochet, and repeat the same thing, half double crochet into each stitch all the way until the end, and I will meet you right here to show you how it's like. You can see here that I have 2 stitches left, so I half double crochet in this stitch, and this is the last half double crochet. You see that this V is not as straight as the other one. This is exactly why we always mark the first stitch. It will be easier to recognize this last half double crochet. So a half double crochet in this marked stitch, which is the last one, and yarn over, pull through all. This is how it should look like, and you should still have 10 stitches on this second row. So counting from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, now moving on, chain 1, turn your work and half double crochet into each stitch across until the end. The pattern is pretty much the same as the last one, but I will show you one more time. Okay, yarn over, insert your hook under the V on top of the first half double crochet, like so, draw our loop, yarn over and pull through all. Now move your stitch marker, this one, to this first half double crochet of row 3, like so, and then moving on, half double crochet into each stitch all the way until the end, and I will meet you right here at the end to show you one more time how it's like. Okay, I'm at the end. I have 1 stitch left, which is this last stitch that we marked. I'm gonna work a half double crochet in there, chain 1, turn my work and move on to row 4. Work a half double crochet into this first stitch, move my marker to that first stitch, and then half double crochet in each stitch across all the way until the end. And the pattern from here will be just the same, there's nothing new, so please follow the written pattern that I put on the screen for you. I'm at the end of row 90, and you can see here that I still marked the first stitch of row 90, and it's still going to be useful later, so make sure that you still mark that first stitch, okay? What we're going to do next is joining these two ends of the piece together, but before we do that, let's make some marks to prepare ourselves for the yoke of the bag. It's gonna be easier to count the rows before you join these ends together. So we will need 4 stitch markers, and we're gonna mark 12 rows of each end. So let's start with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we mark, you wanna mark right by the side of the row, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this row, and we mark the side of that row. And we want to do on both sides, okay? So one there and one here. And then we're going to do the same thing on this end. Okay, let's move on and join these two ends together. You put them together and make sure that is not twisted. This is not good. You want it to be nice and even like this. All right. So to join these ends together, we need only 1 strand of yarn. So first you need a chain 1. And then let's cut 1 strand off. Leave a long enough tail so that we can weave it in later. It can be any of these 2 strands. And then keep this loop and pull the yarn that you just cut off out of the loop, like so. Put this loop back on your hook, and now we have 1 strand of yarn to work with. We join these ends together with single crochet, and it's going to be very simple because we have the same number of stitches on each end. One of the ends, it is the top of the half double crochet stitch. On the other end, it would be the foundation chain that we made in the very first place, right? You can identify the stitch by looking at the body of the stitch. So this is going to be the first stitch. And right under that stitch, you will see this space, and it's also under the 2 loops, which is a chain. So here, first stitch, second stitch, this one, and then move on all the way until the end, and you will have 10 of this space to join these stitches together. Now let's start with the 2 first stitches on each end. Here, insert your hook in the first stitch of this row, and then the first stitch of this one, which is this one, into the space right under the stitch, like so. You draw our loop, yarn over and pull through both loops, and that is 1 single crochet. Repeat the same thing into the second stitch, and the second stitch on the other side, and then again and again all the way until the end, and I will meet you right here to show you what to do next. Okay, here I am at the end, and you can see that I have 2 stitches left on this side, this one, and on the other side I also have 2 stitches. So this one and this last one. So single crochet, and single crochet right here. This is why the stitch marker still works, so that it's easier for us to identify the last stitch. And this last one. Alright, now we're gonna bind off with a chain 1, cut, and again leave a long enough tail to weave it in later. Pull the loop out, tie up. For the yoke of this bag, I put together 2 strands of Aran yarn in the same color, and then I added this yarn in so that it's kind of like triple stranded. But this yarn is very skinny. It is lace 0 weight, so it won't affect the thickness of the yarn so much, but it does add some interesting color into the pattern. So that's what you can do. Okay. Now we're gonna start by inserting this yarn into this mark. You can choose any of these 4 marks. They are the same. I start with this one. So you insert right by the side of this row that you mark, right? You want to take only around 2 loops on the side, okay? So 2 loops of double stranded would be 4 strands of yarn. And you want to slide the new yarn right there, and then you tie it up. Okay, we need a long tail to weave it in later. And then you insert your hook right into the same place. Draw our loop, chain 1, and we're gonna start half double crochet. For the first half double crochet, we're gonna have to put it in the same place where we insert this yarn. It's going to be a little bit tricky here because we did make a knot and then chain 1, so there's not much space left, but we still can do it. So half double crochet in that same place. Okay, then we're still gonna need to mark the first half double crochet that we made on each row, because it's just gonna make it easier for us to work with it later. So you mark it, you mark the V right on top of that stitch, this one. Alright, next we are going to half double crochet into the side of each row. So on the side of this next row, we work 1 half double crochet, move on to the row next to it, here and here and here. Make sure that you don't work more than a half double crochet by the side of each row, and also make sure that you won't skip any row on the way. And because we mark 12 stitches on each end of our strap piece, we're gonna have 24 half double crochet from this mark to this mark. So let's do that. Now a half double crochet, find your next row, insert your hook by the side of that row, take only about 2 loops so that it won't be too thick and won't be too thin, and then half double crochet, and then this next one, you see, so 1, 2, 3, and then this row, this next row, this 4th half double crochet, okay, and then this one, all the way until you get to the middle part. It's gonna be just the same, but it might be a little confusing, so I will meet you right here to show you what to do next. Okay, so here I am closer to the joining line. You can see that I have 2 rows before I reach to that joining line, and let's do that. So this row And this row, it looks a little bit off. Maybe I made the foundation chain a little bit too loose, but it's okay. You just insert your hook right by the side of that row. Okay, now at this point we should have 12 stitches from here to here. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay? Now you might feel like there's a bit lots of gap here before you can reach to this the next row next to the join line, but it's okay. We will jump right into this row, this first row next to the join line, and work a half double crochet in there. Insert the hook by the side of that row, draw a loop, yarn over and pull through all. Okay, that is how it should look like. If you don't have this gap, it's good, but if you have just like mine, in the end it would still be okay. Moving on to this row, a half double crochet, just like what we did before, all the way until we reach to this mark, and I will meet you right there to show you what we do next. Okay, so I am at the end and I have one stitch left, which is this mark stitch, and I will do that. Work my half double crochet in there, and this is how it should look like by now. We should have 24 half double crochet all the way from this mark to this mark. So let's check it. So this first stitch that we mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, let's move on to the second row of the yoke. There's something new. We chain 1, turn our work, and work half double crochet in the first stitch. Don't forget to mark your first stitch. That's why we need 6 stitch marker for this pattern. Okay, it's just gonna make our life easier. And then half double crochet into each stitch across all the way until the end of the row. And they're actually nothing new, so please follow the written pattern on the screen, and then I will meet you to show you what to do next. I'm at the end of row 8, and this is how it should look like. Be careful when you are counting the rows. This first row kind of mixed into this strap, so you might skip counting it, but it's still here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now let's move on. Chain 1 and turn our work. You can see in the written pattern for the next row that we are going to half double crochet into the first and the second stitch, then skip the next stitch, which is the third stitch. So I'll show you how to do that. Work half double crochet into this first stitch, mark the first stitch, and then half double crochet in the second stitch, skip this third stitch, and work half double crochet in the stitch next to it. So like so, and then we half double crochet into each stitch across all the way until we have 3 stitches left, and I will meet you right there to show you what to do. Alright, I have 3 stitches left on this row. I will skip this stitch and work in these 2 last stitches. So skip this one, work in this one, a half double crochet and a half double crochet in this last stitch, chain 1, turn my work. On the next row, you can see in the reading pattern that we won't skip any stitch. We're just gonna half double crochet into the first stitch, mark the first stitch, and then double crochet into each stitch across all the way until the end. The process will be just the same. There is nothing new, so follow the reading pattern that I put on the screen for you. Now, let's repeat the same thing on the other side to create the other yoke. And you can rewind the video if you need it. So this is how everything should look like by now. Next, we are going to make some new marks. And let's start on this side. We're gonna mark the 12th row counting from this row, the row next to the one that we made a half double crochet on the side, okay? So be careful, you don't want to count this row. The row that has this half double crochets on the side, we count from the row next to it, so this one, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we move this mark to the side of this row. Okay, and this one, the same row, okay, this one, let's check one more time from this row, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, now we do the exact same thing to the other side. Now moving on, next, let's join the side of this yoke together with 12 rows on the side of this strap that we just marked. So we have 12 rows of the yoke together with 12 rows that we just marked, okay? So row by row, we need only 1 strand of yarn for this and use single crochet. So let's put the yarn right here in this where you made this first stitch of the first row of the yoke, okay? So you want to insert your yarn right in there. Leave a long enough tail to weave in later, okay? Then insert the hook in the same place, draw our loop, chain 1. Alright, and put these 2 sides together, and you want to make sure that the rows are aligned nice and even next to each other one by one. So this row, the first row that you count to mark and together with the first row of the yoke. So be careful here because the first row of the yoke, it's a little bit squeezed up here. So yeah, we use single crochet to join them together. So insert your hook first into this row, the side of this row, and the side of the first row of the yoke, right there. Okay, right there, and then draw our loop, and then yarn over and pull through, and that is a single crochet into this first rows. Okay, and the second one, so this one and this one. Okay, insert your hook by the side of that row and the second row of the yoke right here, and yarn over, pull through. That's the second single crochet. Now next one, this row and then this row, and of course first row, second row, third row. Okay, and we keep repeating this again and again, and I will meet you right somewhere right here to show you how it's like. All right, so let's move on. So this one, and this one. You can see here that I'm closer to this marked row, and I'm one row away from that, so 2 rows left. And the same on the yoke, I have 2 rows left. And if you are doing everything right here, the rows are aligned nicely next to each other, then the last row of the yoke would be right at the same place with the marked row. Alright, so let's finish it. With this row, and then the last one, which is this marked row, you can remove this, and this last row of the yoke right there, a single crochet. So that is how it should look like. And next we are going to single crochet into each stitch on top of this yoke until you get here, and I'll meet you right there. Okay, so single crochet in this first stitch and then each across. Alright, you see here I have 2 stitches left. I will do that. And then we're gonna repeat the same thing that we did here, but on this side, and it will be from the top down to the bottom instead of from the bottom up. Turn it like this so that it's easier to work with. Okay, and of course the row that you mark will be joined with this, the first row of the yoke, so this one. Okay, insert the hook in this marked row and the first row of the yoke, and make a tie single crochet. Okay, and then the process will be the same. We're gonna single crochet row by row, so this row and then this row all the way until the end, And I will meet you right here close to the corner to show you how it's like. You can see that I am very close to the end. I have 3 rows left on this side. 1, 2, 3, and then of course 3 rows. This one I already put a single crochet in, so from this one, 1, 2, 3. Now let's finish that. And this one, and this one, and then this one, and this one, and then the last one, which is this one and this one. Okay, now before we bind off, you would want to slip stitch into this corner. So you insert the hook like so, draw our loop, and then pull that same loop through the first loop on your hook like so. And to bind off, you chain 1, cut, leave a long enough tail to weave in later like so. Pull the loop out, tie it up, and you can actually put this tail to the wrong side of the piece like so. And this is how it should look like by now. Now we are going to repeat the exact same thing on this side. You can rewind the video to follow the instruction. Alright, so this is how everything should look like by now, and you can stretch your piece out and reshape it a little bit so that it looks more nice and even. Now let's do the handle, and we will need 4 stitch markers again to do some marking, and it will be like this. You count from the row right next to this one, the one that you join with the first row of the yoke. You don't want to count this row, okay? Count from the row next to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and mark the 6th row, and 1 on the other side. And we're going to do the same thing on this one. I will use this yarn. We're going to join the side of this strap together row by row. So the sides of this row together and the sides of the next rows together, one by one, with single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet. I will show you how to do it. You insert your yarn in these marks, like so. You tie this, insert your hook in the same place, draw our loop, chain 1, and start single crochet the sides of the next row together. So insert your hook here and here, single crochet, and before you move on to the next row, you want to chain 1 and single crochet the sides of the next row together. So this one, don't forget to chain 1. Just keep in mind that you need to single crochet and chain 1, single crochet and chain 1. This will make the curve of the handle turn smoother than doing just single crochet. Alright, so single crochet, chain 1, and move to the next row. Join the sides of the row together with a single crochet, chain 1 and single crochet, and chain 1 and single crochet, so chain 1 and single crochet, and you repeat the same process all the way until you get closer to these 2 markers, and I will meet you somewhere here to show you what to do next. I'm closer to these marks, and I have 3 rows left on this side, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 rows left on this side. So this one I already work a single crochet in, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so as you can see, if everything is in the right place and the sides of each row are aligned evenly, these 2 markers would be at the same place. So this I already did a single crochet and chain 1, so now single crochet in this and then chain 1 and single crochet, chain 1. Now for this last one, instead of a single crochet, we would do a slip stitch. So insert your hook in these 2 marks and then draw that loop through the first loop on your hook, like so. Tighten up the slip stitch, chain 1, and then cut. Pull this loop out and tie up. Okay, now let's remove these markers. Okay, so remember we have this gap right here. I will show you how I close it using the tail that I will weave in. So you'll find a tail right there next to the gap. You put the tail into your yarn needle. You just want to insert your hook in a circle around that gap, like this, and this, and this, and maybe here, and here, and then there. Okay. Tie it up a little bit, and then let's weave this tail in as you would normally do, back and forth, right to the left, until you feel like it's safe enough to cut off. And when you feel like it's safe enough, you can just cut this tail off. Don't cut too close, leave a bound just a little bit like this, so that when you stretch the piece, it will go back in the stitches. So now that you know how to weave the end in, you can do the same with this one. When you see more than one ends, you can weave. You can put 2 strands together and weave them in so that it will be faster than just doing one stretch the piece out and cut when you feel like it's safe enough. Okay, repeat that same thing to all the ends. Just in case you would want a kind of closure system for your bag, I will show you a quick way that I like to do it. You will need a strand of yarn that it's about 4 feet long, and you put it in half like this, okay? And then in the wrong side of the back, you would want to find the middle point of this first row of the yoke. So let's find it. And it's about here. I would insert my hook in the middle of this stitch, you see, like so, and slide this yarn in there. Okay, and then make a long chain until the end of the yarn. I think that is enough. And then you'll do the same thing to this side. You can cut. Make sure that you tied it up real nice. And there you have it. Whenever you need, you can tie this together to close your bag up. Maybe you want it a little bit longer, but that's okay for me. I don't use it that much though, but it can be useful at time when you stuff a lot of things in the bag. So yeah,